Thanks, Kent. Really excited about this opportunity tomorrow. Got a really good Kansas State team coming to Baton Rouge for a 12:30 tip-off. I think our guys are finishing up final exam week strong in the classroom. We've had a good week of practice, and I know they're excited to be back on our home floor tomorrow afternoon. So with that said, love to open it up for questions.
Yeah, I guess just kind of have you balance this week, obviously, with finals, and then obviously preparing for this game. You guys had 7 whole days, but just how do you kind of balance that with finals week as well?
We tried to space it out. We were heavier toward the back end of the week on exams, so I had 3 good days of practice, Sunday through Tuesday. We were off Wednesday, and then I had a good practice yesterday and back at it this afternoon. We won't do a full shoot around with it being such an early game. We'll do a walkthrough in the morning and be locked in, ready to go. Those guys who finished exams earlier in the week have gotten a lot of extra time in the gym, shooting and also film study. So I think it's been really productive for us.
With the days off you had, from the court anyway, from the games, how much were y'all able to, dive into what happened in the first 8 games, and where do you go from here? I mean, I know it's probably pretty extensive, but what the work y'all put in. But what were you looking for when you went into it?
Yeah, I think, Sheldon, when you look at it, it was a good point in the season. We're 25% of the way through. So it was a good opportunity to really sit back and analyze and evaluate strengths, weaknesses, areas of improvement. It's also the longest stretch we would have in between games for the remainder of the season. So we tried to be very intentional there. There have been some things we've done very well on the defensive side of the ball, 2-point defense, steal percentage, but have worked hard to improve on our 3-point defense and obviously our defensive rebounding. And then offensively, turnovers, unforced errors have really hurt us. And so I've worked to improve upon that, and going up against a team tomorrow in Kansas State that does a great job with the pressure and creating turnovers. So I think ball security will be at a premium as we look to tomorrow.
Yeah, Coach, Kansas State, how would you describe what they do well and just the overall kind of?
Yeah, terrific team coming off a great year. I thought they did very well in the portal. There are 3 guys. With Kaluma, Perry, and then Cam Carter's return. They're getting about 50 points a game between the 3 of them. Really explosive offensively. I think very good rebounding team, and then have created a lot of problems for people with their pressure on the defensive end of the floor. So I've been in a lot of close games, and then they found ways to win a lot of close games. So tremendous credit to them for that.
You talked about the turnovers, and you have talked about them over and over again. How can you fix it in 1 week's time? But how can you fix it? And also, how's Damian Collins' status?
I think just being disciplined and fundamentally sound. There's never a good time to have a turnover, but our turnovers in the first 8 seconds of the possession in transition have been way too high. So I think just improvement in our decision-making processes there in the open floor will be important for us. Damian's back in conditioning. He is not back to full participation basketball-wise yet, so he will be out tomorrow. Really hopeful to get him back sooner than later, but still working through that shoulder injury he suffered in the North Florida game. Yeah, Trey's back full go, dislocated his finger in that same game, and has battled through it. He's had a really good week of practice.
I know you talked some about Jordan and just kind of the struggles he had, I guess, efficiency-wise to start the year. Do you think last week's game was a good kind of indication of what you guys have to come, and just kind of how maybe he looked in the last week of practice as well?
I thought it was a good step forward for him from an efficiency standpoint. He was, I believe, 50% from the floor and from 3, shot it really well, made good decisions with the basketball, and he's really rebounded well for us. and with his size at that small forward / 3 position, that's been important. Really want him to continue to take over in practice from a leadership standpoint. I think we have some experienced guys in Will Baker, Jordan Wright, Trey Hannibal's in his 5th year now. We've got Derek Fountain in his 4th. I really want to challenge those guys from an ownership of our internal leadership, and I think we've had some good steps forward there this week in practice for sure.
Yeah, Coach, how do you approach Jaylen Cook's pending waiver and how you approach it in practice, or do you try to work him in more, or is it kind of waiting until the process is finished?
Yeah, he's been full go in practice, and preparing for him to be with us. He had the hamstring injury this summer that cost him a couple months, back July to early September. But I've tried to impress upon him to prepare every day as if we're going to get that phone call and he's ready to go. It's really been a disappointing process. Not the way he's handled it. I'm talking from the NCAA standpoint. I hate it for him. I can't believe we don't have finality there yet. He should be eligible. He meets all of the criteria. We're not talking about one of these guys who's forced school in 4 years, or these 24-year-olds in their 7th year of college. He's back at his original school, 20 minutes from home, and I can't get into all the confidentiality of his personal case, but he meets every criteria that should deem him eligible to play right away. And now he's already missed a quarter of our season while we're waiting on this. And I see other players across the country, and I'm happy for them that they've gotten their waivers here over the last 2 weeks and are getting to play. But I just can't imagine there being a better case out there for someone who should be playing basketball right now than Jaylen Cook. So very disappointed for him, but hopeful that we get to a good resolution really soon.
You said after the Southeastern game there was no demotions or anything like that, but Jordan seemed to play better. He gave you a good spark. But did Terrell Ward do what you wanted him? That could warrant more starts.
I think he shot the ball really well from 3-point range this season. I think all of our guys have had a really good week of practice. Sometimes this week can drag along. You're 8 days in between games. Guys are finishing up all their class presentations and projects and final exams. But I think our guys have come in, really worked extremely hard. They know the areas where we need to make improvement, and there's a great return on our investment if we do so. And so I've been very pleased there. And I know they're excited to get to play tomorrow, especially here on our home court against a really good basketball team. So looking forward to it. We need another good day of practice today to have some good momentum going in to tomorrow's 12:30 tip-off.
I know it's a 12:30 tip-off tomorrow. Power conference opponent, what do you hope to see from the crowd?
Yeah, energy. It's our responsibility as a team to come out and play with great effort and play together as a team. And then, I think our great fans will respond to that with energy, with passion. So we're excited about it. I think Kent was telling me it's been, I think, 7 or 8 years since a Power 5 team came to the PMAC in November or December. So especially to have a team coming off an Elite 8 appearance, just had a huge win over Villanova in overtime on Tuesday. Great challenge, but a great opportunity for us in our program tomorrow.